Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of our podcast series, Insights to Impact. Today, we will speak about evolution of agile reporting and analytics. We will also discuss transformative power of AI agents. And very exciting, we will show a real-life example of AI agent for leave liability. My name is Lucia, and I am here today with Dr. Philip Gibbs. Welcome, Philip.
Thank you, Lucia, and welcome everybody.
Can we quickly talk about evolution of HR reporting and insights?
Yeah, absolutely. So to really bring this to life, and again, if we think about there are lots of maturity models out there, but if we kind of go with the Josh one, sort of level 1 to level 4, the way I would explain the old ways of reporting and analytics, it was very manual and operational. So very static reporting, a lot of time joining a lot of siloed data together, often in Excel, generating and plotting your graphs, to then actually putting a pack together. And that was very much a static document, whether that was a PowerPoint slide and then you turn into a Word document or a PDF. And it would just kind of go into a meeting and often in an appendix somewhere. To the next evolution, I would say, is leveraging more sophisticated technology like your BI tools to use more real-time data and insights. So you actually have dynamic tools. You can start to inquire and delve in and be much more storytelling with the information, and also even start to incorporate more sophisticated analytics. So you can actually start to bring in some machine learning, regression type analysis capability. But where we are evolving now is we're in the era of the AI agents. And I think this is going to be a hugely transformative era for HR, which we'll kind of touch on shortly.
Let's maybe take a look at practical example. What about leave liability? For example, I am Chief People Officer and I have an executive leadership meeting on Friday. They are keen to discuss how the leave liability is following the Christmas shutdown and school holidays in Australia. Can AI agents support Chief People Officer with this issue? I know Agile HR Analytics has developed AI agent. Maybe we can take a look on that.
Absolutely. And look, for those not necessarily familiar with the Australian market, leave here is protected by the regulation. So unlike some other markets where it's maybe a use it or lose it policy around leave, if you have 20 days annual leave, you only use 2 of those, you have to roll that over into subsequent years. So there are instances where employees end up accumulating or accruing high leave balances where they haven't utilized that, and they could have started out at a graduate and then now in a senior role. Those leave days are a lot more money now, but more importantly, just from a well-being point of view, obviously we want to be encouraging employees to take leave, but it is quite a significant cost for organizations. So not surprising, executive teams will want to ensure, and particularly after the Christmas lockdowns, probably the biggest opportunity to really reduce leave liability. So anyway, we have a number of leave dashboards here, and as we've explained, when we think about the agents, we have that relational data model, the HR taxonomy, we have all these measures, metrics, and visualizations. But yes, you can go and ask the story if you know where you're going. But with the co-pilots now, we can really take this to the next level. So in this example, I'm a CHRO. I want to quickly understand, well, okay, there's a lot of charts and information here. What are the key insights? So the first question let's ask is, I have a meeting with our executive leadership team to discuss leave liability. Can you provide me with some key insights for our organization? So we'll give that probably a couple of seconds, a minute or so to just compute. But what we'll hopefully see is the agent will be able to provide those data-driven analysis. So again, not just taking some key metrics and stat, but actually do some analysis around that to then extract, well, what are some of the key insights? And so you'll see here, it's giving you the total leave liability very significantly over the years. So it's able to look at your trending historic data, overlaying some of the financial costs to that. And yeah, even go further and look at some of the financial impact and trends with some recommended actions, as well as what could be some next questions or next things that you may want to then explore or delve in further.
Oh, I like how it provides you with the insights, but also suggests the next steps and recommendations. That's really cool. And can you provide a detailed analysis of financial impact and forecast future liabilities with like using AI agent?
That's great. Are you talking from a chief finance officer there, Lucia? So I think absolutely this is probably the first question that will come from the chief finance officer. So yeah, absolutely. Could you provide me with a detailed analysis of the financial impact and forecast what those future liabilities may be? So again, there's some sophistication going beyond here, actually being able to do some forecasts. So if we continue on this trajectory, what would that look like? If we wanted to, reduce leave liability by X%, what would that bring down? And then, financially, what would that cost or save? So yeah, so again, this is actually doing some analysis and great kind of question. And thinking about it, as the chief HR officer, you could think about those key personas in the meeting. So what's the executive IT likely to ask versus the finance officer, and to help you prepare for those challenging conversations. So again, summary of those key insights, looking at the projected leave viability. I mean, oh wow, actually that's expected to arrive 372,000. That's a 61% increase year on year. That's quite a big cost. It's then giving you the financial impact and future liability forecast, as well as doing some trend analysis, as well as recommended actions. So again, you can inquire further. All of this, by the way, is explainable. So you can get the relevant charts, the underlying data behind this. So everything will match what's in the report and you'll be able to back up. So all of this is explainable, essentially. So yeah, there we go.
And what if we would like some recommendations how to reduce liability?
Yeah, again, another great question. So what are some of the interventions that we could do around leave liability? Sorry, I mean multitasking, just making sure I got the right prompt in there. So yeah, could you provide some recommendations to reduce leave liability? And again, the thing here is that we can factor in things like, what are the do's and don'ts given, and I've just got it here, like the Fair Work Ombudsman. You can't direct certain leave, and instances there, because I say it is predicted. So it's really important that we are aware around what you can and can't do. So yeah, so here we go. So it's got, again, it's saying here some recommended actions. It's kind of pointed out corporate departments, they hold the highest leave liability, so that's a probably good place to start. And followed by finance. So again, it's helping you with, well, okay, here's the insight. What actions do I need to take? What are the conversations I should be going in with? And again, the recommended actions. So it's kind of showing you target high risk departments, encourage mandatory leave usage, schedule leaves during low demand periods, automated leave monitoring alerts, and the nudging technologies can be quite effective. So again, some good advice and strategies. But I would always, again, overlay this with around, well, what is realistic, and we've obviously got to be careful that we don't want to push people the other way and just think, well, no, actually, this is my entitlement. You can't force me. So I think how we manage that, I think, is really important. So as I've always said, is, people are fearful, they're going to resist and not ultimately take the action. So I think there is a bit of art on the CHRO to be able to go in and actually convince and arm them with the facts and data, but also how we're going to position that with the business to ensure that we have the desired effect.
Wow, that's so powerful. Can we maybe take it a little bit further and like ask to drive if it can help us to drive some appropriate actions for the business? For example, can it help us to draft an email for the managers with the highlights, like leave liability, recommending some actions to take?
Absolutely. And for me, this is where I feel that agents can be hugely transformative for HR, really turning those insights to impact. So I've just asked the agent to help draft an email to the managers of teams with the highest leave liability,
Mm-hmm.
recommending some actions that they could take to help reduce balances, but focusing from a well-being perspective. Because as I say, the reality is employees aren't really going to care about the cost it is for an organization. This is my entitlement. But I think, really going in the emphasis around the importance for well-being. We want you to be able to use your leave. I mean, that's why we have leave. We want to use and enjoy that. So again, we're able to kind of tailor the messaging there. But you'll see this is really where the agent comes into its element because it's helping drive subsequent actions, drafting. It can even schedule and send this email. It can even, you can ask it to review, okay, based on the relevant legislation, is the tone okay? We're not obviously, going the other way and feeling that we're forcing people. We can't direct. But again, we can take it even further and actually say, well, okay, let's go in. We've had the meeting on Friday with the exec leadership team. We've said, right, we've drafted some emails and some wording for you. We want to schedule this if we're all in agreement. We maybe tailored some of the strategies based on the different businesses. But we can then evaluate were those interventions effective or not? So what were the teams that were successfully able to bring those down? Why was that? We can actually ask the agent to say, look, could you evaluate what made them what were the elements that made them successful versus the teams that didn't? And it could be, as an example, the teams that didn't, they're largely operational areas, call centers, maybe they work on shift patterns, so it's a lot harder for them to use leave like other departments. So again, these insights can be really powerful to help tailor and refine the interventions to ensure that you're having the best impact. So yeah, very
Mm-hmm.
powerful stuff.
Yeah, this is all very exciting. But are there some things we should be mindful of using technology to help with people data? Like any potential blind spot we need to consider?
Yes, absolutely. I think AI is great. And maybe I'll stop sharing now. I think AI, for me, I'm hugely optimistic about this and the transformative effect that it can have. But obviously, it's important to critically evaluate the content it provides. So I think your HR practitioners, they have to be able to sense check. They need to consider many things like the culture, the diversity, unconscious biases. Your local policies, procedures. National legislation, and most importantly, the receiver's willingness to accept this and do something with it. So I'd say, look, no matter how accurate or comprehensive the insight is, the value it provides really depends on the receiver's willingness to use it. So if they're skeptical, fearful, resistant to information, they're really unlikely to leverage and action it at the end of the day. And so for me, skills like emotional intelligence will become more important than ever, because that way you're able to identify the hidden issues and deliver insights to stakeholders on the other end. So they will receive it, embrace it, and leverage it and take action. And this is for me where the skills of business partners, the CHRO, they're engaging the business every day. They know firsthand what's going on, how people are feeling, what the sentiment is, what the culture is. So I think they are best placed to be able to play this kind of role. So I think that combination between the AI, being that strategic partner for them, setting up them for success with the data and the insights, but then business partners, the CHRO, bringing in the context to the business and what's going on, and knowing how to position things. And I think that combination is going to be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, that sounds so impactful, Philip. Thank you very much for sharing these insights with us today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
For those of you watching, if you would like to explore these solutions further, Agile HR Analytics has plenty of resources to get you started. You can find more information on our website, agile-hr-analytics.com. Philip, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. Thank you very much.
Likewise. Thanks, everyone.